Happy holidays, everybody. It's Jackie Schomburg-Minen, and I am here for my, I guess, annual Let's Use Red and Green and Have It Not End Up Looking Christmassy contest that I like to play with myself. I'm doing something a little bit different today. I'm doing a grid journal on the right, and on the left side, I'm doing just a larger picture. I was looking at maybe doing 4 squares on the left side just for slightly bigger, but I decided that I would just make a portrait. It's probably like a 5 by 7-ish size. So I'm gathering reds and greens and, some pinks and some black and whites, of course, just to accent things. I went through a magazine just to get some fresh pages. And then I just had a whole bunch of paper scraps on my desk already. So I'm using those as well. It was I've never done this before in the same session where I've done tiny, 2 inch by 2 inch grid paintings and then a larger, whatever this is, 5 by 7, 6 by 8, something on the left. So it was interesting going back and forth between the two scales at the same time. And I needed to remind myself to look at the other page. So when I was working on the larger one, I'd remind myself to look at the right for smaller pieces and smaller things. And then when I was looking at the right, I had to do the same thing to look at the left and make sure that I wasn't ignoring that section either. So it's basically a series of 10. It's just that one is significantly larger than the other 9. And I will be honest with you, this one, halfway through, I thought this just is screaming Christmas. There's no way to overcome this. And I'll be excited to see what you guys think at the end. So hang in there with me until the end before you judge how things turn out, because I do make some big changes at the end that hopefully tip things away from a Christmassy feel. But I will let you guys be the judge of that. As with all of my grids, I'm looking at keeping things cohesive by using the same types of colors, same types of materials in all of them, or at least the majority of them. So not every one has that Celadon tissue color with the kind of clear circle shapes that are overlapping the two middle. this is way more description than you guys need, but that page that I'm cutting up right there, how's that? Not every square has that in it, which is fine, but enough of them do that it's also a through point across the other squares. I really like this lime green. I randomly had the thinnest strip of that, and I ended up cutting it up into at least 2 pieces. This is why it's so hard for me to throw collage paper out, because even the teeny little things that I find, sometimes they're just the perfect piece. Something about diagonals that I struggle with in my compositions. I don't love diagonals. Maybe I'll need to do some exposure therapy and just do a whole bunch of them so I get past it. And again, aside from the Celadon, these are very Christmassy colors, right? It's the bright red, it's the bright green, Crayola marker green. It's a little bit lighter. but no one would be, perplexed if you asked them what this color scheme could be. And because red and green to me scream Christmas so much, I always find it fun to do this because it's such a challenge to me personally to try to make something that's not Christmassy. It's my daughter coming in, showing me the art that she was working on. She took a couple of my collage scraps and glued things together. My own little mixed media artist. I know the holidays can be a tricky time of year for many of us. So if you are not feeling in the holiday spirit, you don't have to. Just rent a movie. We don't even rent movies anymore. I don't know. Watch a movie on Netflix, hang out, get super cozy. If you have a pet, snuggle your pet. And just make it the best day for you possible. And just be kind to yourself. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. There's no prizes at the end of the day for, I don't know, tidiest house or, best green bean side dish or anything like that. So you do you. Enjoy it. Make some art. Try to make red and green as fun and non-Christmassy as you can. I would love to see your work. If you end up doing this yourself, email me a picture. I would love to see it. This green, it's a magazine picture of a blouse, the darker green. And I loved how all the lines kind of bent around the folds. So right now some pieces are getting traction. The middle row, actually the row on the column on the left of the smaller squares are looking pretty good. And the middle row going sideways is looking pretty good. Some of the others are very much in progress. I guess both. And somewhere around here is when I was thinking, oh my gosh, it's just going to be Christmas. There's no way around this. Because I do give up a little bit in every single one of my paintings and collages and everything else. I give up and then I ungive up. And if you give up, that's fine. But then as long as you ungive up eventually. If there are any English teachers listening, you're probably cringing, but I think you know what I'm saying. Now that's the case when I tore the piece and it ended up not liking it where it was supposed to be. Looking at the left side, I really liked that big green fabric swoosh and that darker emerald green color. I did hesitate to glue it down, thinking it's going to take over that whole side, which it does. But I'm really happy with the decision. I know these are hard to see. I need to zoom in a little bit more next time. If I zoom in after the fact, it's not very clear. So this red piece, not that one, this one I'm putting on right now, that is a bunch of red jelly beans and pink jelly beans. I think it was from a Target ad that made like the Target symbol out of jelly beans. And this is the neon red that, for my money, made the whole thing. I loved that edition. And that one. So teeny bit of fluorescent red, teeny bit of black and white stripes made the whole thing for me. Now that one's 99% done. Going back to check on everything else. These kind of maroon and pink stripes are so over the top and so in your face that I didn't feel the need to have them on every square, certainly not in large quantities. It's like a Cheshire cat pattern. This center, the small center square, reminds me of looking out of an airplane window onto farmland. When you're flying over the middle of the United States, that's how it looks. Less red fields, but similar shapes. So from here on out, I have a lot of the work done. And now I'm focused on trying to get things to work better and trying to add pops of color here and there, trying to add something interesting for things to feel more grounded and complete. For those of you who are less experienced from an artistic standpoint, that can be really frustrating to hear because I don't have a way that I can tell you that things feel done. I guess if there's variety in each square, there's a decent amount of lights and darks in each square, and there's some little pops of color here and there, and it's somewhat pleasing to look at. This poor lady's lips. This is the lady who was wearing the green blouse, and I cut her mouth off. I wanted it to fit someplace that wouldn't be heavy-handed and wouldn't be like, hey, there's a mouth here. Everything else is abstract, but here's a mouth. I didn't think I'd find a spot for a while. I liked adding that red stripe in as if it was falling in line with the black and white. This is a blue and green stripe that finished off that piece on the left. So that piece is done now. I'm still really happy with it. I'm a little sad that it's in my sketchbook because I can't take it out without tearing the page that I used behind it out as well. But I'm really happy with it. So this piece I was trying on here and it was just stuck down. I didn't put medium over it. It just left it there too long apparently with wet medium still wet there. So it shows its own spot. Unfortunately, I had enough medium on my fingers, and you'll see what I did as I was pushing something down right there. Do you see when I lifted up? Some of the green came off the magazine clipping and stuck to my finger. So these are the finished pieces, the 10. Each tiny square, I really like this one. This one's one of my favorites. Each tiny square has something I feel like could probably be a little bit better, but I think it has its own charm too. So I'm not overly worried about it. And I think I did commit to and achieve my non-Christmas red and greens. So please let me know what you think. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.